Alright, so the fact that this camera is probably one of the most hyped up cameras this year and we're only in March is pretty crazy to say. So this is the Fujifilm X100VI, and if you know anything about cameras, you know that its predecessor, the X100V, was almost close to impossible to pick up for retail price. And right now, 4 years later, you'll still find the X100V to be $400 to even $600 above its original retail price, which is insane. It just doesn't make sense. But this camera is honestly going to be really special to me because it's going to push me to start being more creative, as it comes in such a small form factor. I can really take this thing anywhere to start shooting just regular photography around the street. But in this video, we'll talk about if this camera is actually worth the hype and if you should pick it up this year. Alright, so one of the cool things about this camera that has a lot of people going crazy about it is the recipes feature on here. And basically what that means is that it gives you the ability to kind of customize the way that you want your photos to look and pretty much bake that into your photos directly from the camera. So if you're a photographer now, you pretty much know you're going to be shooting raw and editing your photos afterwards in Lightroom or whatever software you use to edit your photos. But pretty much with this camera, it eliminates the process of editing photos in post, which is such a game changer. And what's cool is that you'll find a ton of different recipes out there from a ton of different creators that you can emulate straight on this camera and save them as presets. So whenever you want to switch between them, you can easily do it with a click of a button. So pretty much think of these recipes as Lightroom presets or just different filters that you can add to bake that look into your photos straight from the camera. I think for me personally, this is gonna allow me to be a lot more creative and just shoot a lot more photos, just knowing that I'm not gonna have to edit these later on in the day. Which, if you know, after a long day of just shooting a ton of photos, editing them afterwards is such a pain to do. But one of the main reasons why I went with the X100VI over the X100V, even if they look almost identical, is that this camera now has IBIS, and if you don't really know what that is, it pretty much stands for in-body image stabilization, which is huge because this is gonna allow you to handhold your camera at much lower shutter speeds. And you can even consider using this small form factor camera to shoot video on, because you can record on this thing at 4K 10-bit color, which is just insane. And with that in-body image stabilization now, it really just makes it perfect to record on it. Because on the X100V, it was pretty much impossible to record video on it without it looking super shaky. So I really give props to Fujifilm for listening to the people and giving us that IBIS feature. So this camera now has an upgraded 40 megapixel sensor compared to the 26 megapixel sensor that you'll find on the X100V, which is huge. And the fact that they were able to fit such a large sensor in such a small form factor camera is still so crazy to me. Some other hardware features that you'll find on both cameras is still the dedicated shutter speed and ISO dial, as well as the ability to adjust your aperture up front. This camera can be charged via USB Type-C, which I'm honestly really grateful for because pretty much all my devices are USB Type-C nowadays. And one thing that I feel like is so slept on this camera is that it has a built-in ND filter, so shooting out in sunny days or just bright environments is just not going to be a problem with this camera. I've had this camera for about a week now and I've personally been loving it and I can't wait to continue using it. Like I said, I think this is really going to give me an opportunity to be more creative in terms of my photography. As again, I keep mentioning, the form factor is just so great to take this anywhere without having to worry about carrying such a large camera with big lenses. It's just perfect. And the fact that I can customize the way that these photos look straight out of the gate without having to edit them afterwards, it really is just beautiful. But let me know in the comment section if you guys are willing to wait months to get your hands on one of these, and if you think if this camera is actually worth the hype. I'm considering doing a day in the life with this camera to really push it to its limits to see what it's capable of, so let me know if you guys want to see that. But hey guys, make sure you're showing some support and hitting that subscribe button, like the video, and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of my future videos. I appreciate you all, and I'll catch you guys very soon.